You are about to enter Gigi's world.
Hello and welcome back to the Gigi Naturals Homestead channel. On today's video, we will be planting my peppers and my tomatoes. And so one of the things that I'm going to be using in this video is these earthworm castings. So I would typically have plenty of earthworms when I was planting in the ground. You know, our yard, we always made sure that the environment was full of life and full of earthworms. And Eco Neighbor even built a little earthworm factory for us to produce in a couple of areas around the yard. And so we always had plenty of earthworms. So now, since I am container gardening now, I have to actually buy some earthworms. So glad to do so, right? So let's go ahead and get right into this video and get these peppers and tomatoes planted, get them healthy, growing, so that we can get some great harvests before the season starts to change on us. So the first thing I'll be doing to my pots is I'll be adding a little of the fertilizer in order to help with drainage, to make sure that my soil does not get very compacted. So I just take that perlite and just work it down into the soil. It's got a regular teaspoon here, and I'm going to take a couple of teaspoons, and just mix it down into the soil, into your hole where you're going to plant. And then take a nice and strong green bell pepper. This one is, that one's looking pretty good, so just going to push from the bottom and remove that bell pepper. And see, the roots definitely need, you know, a little help. So that fertilizer is going to do a world of good. And just plant in the center. Push it down nice and snug. And that's it. So I'm going to add 2 spoons to each one of these pots. Yep, I could definitely use some help with getting some additional root stimulation going. Let me bring you guys in closer so that you can see what I'm doing. Take 2 teaspoons, mix it in. And this pack has a couple of good ones in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plant the ones that are pretty strong. Look at that. You see what I mean? The roots needed to be developed a little better. So that fertilizer is going to be perfect for helping to develop strong roots. And so the ones that I did not select to go into these containers, I'm going to give them some nutrients and try to get them a little bit stronger. You see, I'm gonna try to save those, get them looking a little bit stronger, and then I will give them their own individual container after that. These are very, very wet is the problem with these. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm just gonna have to allow these to dry out some. And I think what their problem is that they just got, from the storms that we had come through, they just got really, really wet. So I'm gonna take the strong ones and give them their own pot. They've been doing really well. They deserve they deserve their own container. The roots look good. They can be better. So let's reward them with their own pot. Fertilizer is in. Plant is nice and comfy. I'm going to go ahead and put the jalapenos on there to know where they started. Now I can make some extras. I can make some extra tags. Make sure you know what is what. Okay, so one more is looking nice and strong. I'm gonna get a new home. All right, and that is that for the jalapenos. Since I had an extra container left over, I'm gonna take this patty pan squash that I have. It needs a home. Remove it from that little container. Give it a deeper hole. And I'm gonna try my best to get this. I'm gonna have to move this around to try to keep it in some sun so that it can get a little extra. It's growing some true leaves on there, but definitely is in need of some sun. And I have one more that is coming up in there, and so we'll find a home for it as it grows a little bit larger. Okay, and at this point, I'm going to be taking some earthworm castings and just pouring a little over into a little handy dandy pitcher here. It has rainwater in it left over from the storms coming through. So I'm just going to mix it in and just make some earthworm casting tea. That was probably like a spadeful that I mixed into there. I'm gonna let it sit for several hours, and these peppers, had a lot of water in them, so I'm also gonna let them sit for several hours into the soil before I water it, because I want the dry soil to absorb some of the moisture that was there in those peppers, and then I can go ahead and water them in when I come back with the earthworm casting tea. Being that this is not compost or anything, it's going to need some microbes in it that are going to be beneficial to helping this plant to be strong and healthy and to produce some good fruit. So that's why I'm adding the earthworm compost tea to these planters. And if it's easier for you, you can actually only fill your pot for your tomatoes about halfway. And let me show you why. So this is the Parks. That's the Parks. Okay, yeah, so this is the Parks Whopper Improved Tomato. Never grown this one before. Never even heard of it, to be honest. So with the tomatoes, you're gonna go ahead and push from the bottom, pop one out. I'm gonna go ahead and pop off these bottom leaves And I'm just going to leave the top because I'm going to make a really deep hole into this pot, and I'm going to drop that tomato plant all the way down in there. I hope you guys can see that. So the fine hairs run all the way up and down the stem of the tomato, and so you want to plant these nice and deep in your container. Now you can literally only see the top of that. That's exactly what you want, because that's going to help your tomatoes develop more roots. Okay, so those roots are going to make a bigger, stronger tomato plant for you. All right, just like that. You're going to have some nice, strong roots. See how far I buried it? Okay, guys, so the only thing left to do is to water these babies in. Get them nicely watered in with the compost tea. You want to help those healthy microbes. Help the soil. Okay, so now we have the tomatoes planted up. The celebrity tomatoes and the Park Whopper Improved tomatoes. And we threw in a little bonus, a patty pan squash. Threw that in there because it needed a new home. And we got our peppers, the jalapeno peppers. We got those in there. And we also have some green sweet bell peppers. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, when you grow it, you know it. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.